There have been quite a bit of innuendos about ADANI, and I've explained that this is a reputable company, by my knowledge. And this company actually has done very many PPP projects. There have been quite a bit of innuendos about ADANI, and I've explained that this is a reputable company, by my knowledge. And this company actually has done very many PPP projects.
It's a smoke screen that was meant to divert the attention of Kenyans and provide the cover for these multi-billion deals to be sealed by the bread-based government.
Yes, many Kenyans are still in shock after Raila Odinga coming out to support the ADANI deal. Normally, Raila Odinga has had a history of fighting such shady deals which don't involve public PPP, public-private procurement. And it is very rare for Raila Odinga to come out and support a government project which is shoddy. Now, Kenyans are realizing that even Raila Odinga must have gotten something small from this deal. This deal of leasing Jomo Kenyatta International Airport is worth $97 billion. That is too much money. In fact, for refurbishing only an airport. Such amount of money can do another airport, I think two. But it's being used to refurbish one airport. And there are very many questions arising. Now, the news coming in is pointing at Raila Odinga getting a kickback from this deal. It's the reason as to why RUTO decided to get Raila Odinga in government so that they can do anything. Because when you are the president of Kenya and you have Raila Odinga, the biggest opposition leader in government, you are the luxury of doing most of the things. Because you may be lacking a credible opposition. But this brings a lot of issues. So in this episode, I've come to talk about the issue of Raila Odinga getting a kickback so that he could support the ADANI deal, what it means for our politics, and most importantly, the study materials we can learn from the politics of our nation. But before I do this, I want to let you know that if you're new to this channel, please subscribe. If geopolitics and economics is what you want, this will be definitely the right channel for you to subscribe to. The ADANI deal brought a lot of contentious issues. In fact, when Kenyans knew that the airport was going to be leased, there erupted a lot of demonstrations. When William Ruto got to know about this, he decided to first cool down the people by doing seminars. We all know, we saw a video of UDA doing seminars in the universities, and they talked about the ADANI deal. Okay? Because they know most of the university students are the one who normally go on the streets of Kenya to protest. So by doing such seminars on the ADANI deal across the universities, especially the University of Nairobi and Kenyatta University, they are trying to mitigate the outcome of leasing this airport. Okay? And it's so unfortunate. What shocked very many Kenyans is Raila Odinga coming out to support the same. Remember, the company which is getting this deal didn't follow the due process. Because a project of such a magnitude, there must be very many companies which are supposed to participate and put in their bid so that the winner can win, okay, this bid. But in this way, the ADANI were given a deal without competing with other. There is no doubt that Jomo Kenyatta International Airport must be worked upon, but the procedure of it being worked upon in such shady deals is what in question. And what pains more is Raila Odinga is in support. Many of the reasons as to why Raila Odinga is supporting this is because he's being helped to get the AU seat, but also in his admission he came out to say that he knows the ADANI back then, since I think 2007. And the Danny Manzo, the senator from Makueni, came out to say that ADANI gave Raila Odinga money. Before I proceed, let me first give you the tape when Raila Odinga was supporting the ADANI deal. Here is the tape.
There have been quite a bit of innuendos about ADANI, and have explained that this is a reputable company, by my knowledge. And this company actually has done very many PPP projects. I mentioned that we visited India at the invitation of then Chief Minister of State of Gujarat, Narendra Modi. And he introduced us to several Indian conglomerates. ADANI was one of them. One was Mr. Ratan Tata, who was also there at the conference that we attended. And then we visited a project that was done through a PPP by ADANI in a place called Mundra. This was
for those who don't know, ADANI, the Asia is competing among itself. India is competing with China. China has always been taking up projects. In fact, China has always been accused on the international stage of doing shoddy projects and shoddy deals, okay, to capture Kenyans in debt. Even India, since it's competing with Kenya, is doing the same. This started as far as 2019. In Raila Amolo Odinga's admission, he's saying that they mode Narendra Modi, the then Chief Minister of Gujarat. Now Narendra Modi is the Prime Minister of India. So that these rich people can come and do deals in Kenya. And I think by that time, Raila Amolo Odinga was the Prime Minister. And they are using this crack to get this deal. It wouldn't have been bad if this deal was gotten correctly. But the way things are, it seems that there has been some oiling of salt for this project to be done and give out Jomo Kenyatta International Airport for 30 years. Remember, ADANI has always been in scandals of doing such projects, most especially that of electricity, and electricity was so expensive in other countries. This is what is happening. This broke the hearts of Kenyans when Raila Modi came out and supported this. Let's continue with Raila.
Land next to the sea, 5,000 hectares of land, which was granted to the Adanis by the government of Mr. Modi. They drained the swamp and constructed a deep sea port to import coal from Indonesia. And then they put up a power plant, coal-fired, 4,600 megawatts in that place. The Tata Group then also came and put up another second power plant, another 4,600 megawatts, a total of 9,200 megawatts of power in that same spot only. Not only that, they also built a railway line, 100 kilometers, to connect that port to the major railway network. A sleeping village of 5,000 people mushroomed to become a small town of 200,000 people, as many industries rushed to go and invest in that place. They also built an airport in that same place. This was a real success story of a PPP.
So, then also, if you want to sell something, you know, Raila Odinga is one of the greatest orator and the greatest salesperson. You cannot be a great politician without being a great salesperson. In the bid to pitch ADANI deal in Kenya, he first outlined their achievements. And they did those projects. Some of them were exceedingly expensive. ADANI has a history of doing expensive companies, expensive deals than what it's supposed to be. It's the reason as to why normally politicians get kickbacks. So this is why Raila Odinga was outlining their achievements. Let's continue.
The Bombay airport, which had been fly-infested international airport, when it was given through PPP, they took it over and converted it into a very modern, first-class airport today, it is today. The same thing with the airport in Delhi. So what I'm trying to say is that we've seen firsthand what some of these companies are able to do, what PPP can do to an economy. And therefore what I'm trying to say is not to try to ostracize PPP as a concept. It's a concept that's...
So, That is Raila Amolo Odinga supporting the ADANI deal in Kenya. I know very many people are not happy with Raila Amolo Odinga. Raila Amolo Odinga, whenever he joins government, he breaks that government. But also, it is where politics is at law in Kenya. You know, the problem of building yourself as holier than others is they hold you at the same standard. There's no doubt that Raila Amolo Odinga has been a backbone of politics and constitutionalism in Kenya. But him joining Ruto's government in a bid to get the AU position and supporting government agenda, it has been one of the lowest moments. Okay? ADANI deal is not bad, but the way it's being gotten is why it is very, very bad. That's the thing. There's no company that's outlined to ever be in the same bid. What is supposed to be done is, okay, put out a bid in the news, let every company compete, the best wins. But giving out a project to a certain company without a clear participation is in it bad, and a person like Raila Odinga to come out and support the same, it is bad. I think it's the reason as to why Opiyo Wandayi was made the energy minister. Okay? Because ADANI first got electricity as a deal, now he's wanting the airport. To show you that this is a shoddy deal.
This law was passed in 2021. You are the national...
There are no cartels or unfair advantage. There is no fraud
Senator
involved.
Danny Mwanzo came out to reveal it that Raila Amolo Odinga has been sponsored always by these ADANI brothers in various elections, and I think they are paying back. Remember, in 2013, Raila stood as president. Danny Mwanzo came out to say that he was supported by ADANI. And I may not fail to get this because normally these foreign companies which get deals, most especially in Africa, when you look at them, they support elections. It is normal on the way how African politics work. It's the reason as to why in very many jurisprudences, a foreign funding of election is not allowed. It's the reason as to why political parties get funds from within government so that they don't get funds from outside. Because funds from outside, if a person wins an election, they have an effect on them. They can get deals, they can get shoddy deals. So if Danny Mwanzo comes out to say that these ADANI brothers have been supporting Raila's election, it means that maybe they even helped RUTO to win an election. That's why he's getting such deals. That's why the ADANI brothers are getting such deals. And in Africa, it is very possible because we have a lot of loopholes in intelligence on the way how these elections are funded. So Danny Mwanzo came out to announce that Raila Amolo Odinga used to get fundings, and he said these statements. I want you to hear very well. Here's the tape.
There are no cartels or unfair advantage to one of these organizations. But what is happening is this is just direct procurement. There's no procurement, in fact. It's direct sourcing, and it is their own place. It has its own place in law. There is every likelihood that something will go extremely wrong. We are aware that there are a lot of bribes being exchanged for these companies to get jobs here, and that is it. There is nothing much that will come out. Bribes.
How much?
In billions.
To who?
To some of these political party leaders. And that's why you find that they are able to fight for it. That's why you find strategic.
Who are you talking about?
I am talking about Raila Odinga and William Samoei Ruto.
They have been bribed?
They have been bribed by the ADANI company.
How much? Where was that arrived at?
Well, I don't want to give so much details right now. I'll do it at the right forum in the House. We'll also do
evidence that actually they received money.
There are bribes, and there are brokers involved. So that's why these companies have been given direct procurements. It's not that there are no other better companies in the world who can do a better deal.
So if the Ketraco deal is worth 95.6 billion shillings, how much is going to Raila Odinga, how much is going to William Ruto?
You know how much they received out of the deal.
Sorry?
You know how much they received. That's why Opiyo Wandayi is the Minister for Energy. That's why the CS for Energy. It is very well choreographed.
He just came in. The process started.
You know, ADANI, is one of the big Indian companies. And Raila Odinga has admitted that he knew these companies up to 2010 when he was Prime Minister. And he was...
So you clearly see, the reason as why Opiyo Wandayi was made Energy Minister, because this was in the offing. Remember, before Opiyo Wandayi was made Energy Minister, there was a handshake between RUTO and Raila. So ADANI coming out in the picture, it exposes these leaders. In fact, one of the freedom fighters at the stage of Raila coming out to stop this law is going to be bad for the history. Okay? Anything can happen. Elections around the Kenya are funded by both foreigners and locals. It's the reason as to why our constitution mitigates this by funding political parties. So if a senator comes out to say that ADANI used to sponsor Raila's election, and in own Raila's admission, you come out to say that he knew about the ADANI brothers long time ago. Let's continue.
One of the companies sponsoring his campaign so that he becomes president in 2012.
Is that so?
These are some of the companies. So it's a bigger plot.
That's a very serious allegation.
Yes, they are. And that's why there's no procurement. If everything was to be serious, everything should have been on the table. Different companies should have been allowed to compete for the same jobs. How come they are direct procurements?
ADANI Group was sponsoring Azimio campaigns.
No, it wasn't Azimio those days. They sponsored the presidential campaign of Raila Odinga.
Which election?
2012.
2013.
There was a code there. There was a code movement.
Kalonzo Musyoka was the running mate.
Yeah, Kalonzo was part of the code.
It was part of it. So these are old. These are I don't have the exact amounts, but you know, campaigns are funded by different people.
You're certain about what you're saying?
Person, you know, the campaigns, the presidential campaign is owned by a lot of foreigners. A lot of times, it's owned by businessmen.
Senator Danny Mwanzo saying that Raila Odinga got money. I think that where there is a smoke, there is fire. The way this ADANI deal was gotten, you clearly see that there are some things which are not going on well. How can a company get such a magnitude of opportunity without competition? Okay? Without competition. Really? So, it is a down moment for Raila Odinga to have gotten this money and stop this law. That's the truth. In fact, even Kalonzo Musyoka came out to buttress this, saying that the impeachment motion of Rigathi Gachagua was aimed at, first of all, fighting Rigathi Gachagua because he was in the opposition with ADANI, but also have a chance to pass this shady deal. Because how can it be like in the midst of the impeachment motion of the deputy president, we are seeing ADANI taking over energy in Kenya. We are seeing ADANI getting another deal of the airport. Even Kalonzo Musyoka buttressed this, saying that ADANI was a smokescreen to pass this dubious deal. In fact, Kalonzo said these statements. I want you to hear very well.
Was a smokescreen that was meant to divert the attention of Kenyans and provide cover for these multi-billion deals to be sued by the bread-based government. We want to assure Kenyans that we will not allow our country to be auctioned by this bread-based regime. We shall fight in Parliament, we shall fight them in court, we shall fight them on the streets, but we will never surrender our country.
Kalonzo Musyoka is even calling them bread-based government because they came out to announce that it is a broad-based government. Now Kalonzo Musyoka is coming out to utter that it is bread, and in this is about sharing bread. I mean, it's all this fracas. We are seeing people cutting deals with ADANI. So this is one of the lowest moments of Raila Odinga, a person who has always held a high stature in government. Okay? Like it or not, this is not good news. Okay? If you want to develop the airport, it's not bad. But due process must be followed. Not getting a contract and give it to someone because he's one of your greatest funders. Let's continue.
To these latter-day merchants of Venice. Ladies and gentlemen, our judiciary is also under attack. As our last line of defense, we urge them to continue being our shield and defender against an increasingly autocratic regime hell-bent on returning this country to the dark days of oppression. This overbearing executive has indeed captured Parliament. If that was not clear before, the impeachment events made it starkly so. Lastly,
Kalonzo Musyoka even pointed out that the executive has taken over the parliament, and it's right. ODM cows together with ODM, who is supposed to be checking government, is in bed with UDA, and they will pass anything that is being needed. Even those ODM members who were in the opposition against ADANI, if you see your party leader coming out to support the same, you must toe the line, because that is how politics works. And I may not be surprised that this thing is going to pass in parliament. That's the truth. Because a person like Onyoka, a person like Sifuna, a person like others who are opposing the ADANI, Kaluma and others, if they see Raila Odinga supporting the same, they won't come on the floor to go against it or to ask a lot of questions about it. They'll let it pass. And I cry for my beloved country, Kenya. It's not taking a right direction. Of course, that's my opinion. Do drop me your comments by commenting about this. Thank you very much for listening in. If this is your first time on this YouTube channel, I implore you to subscribe, like, and comment so that I can be motivated to do more of such videos. See you in another one. Peace.